It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 783. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. You can leave me a voicemail message on Skype. The name is Mike Tech Show, all one word. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Mike Tech Show, and also facebook.com/Mike Tech Show. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call, robust remote support for IT pros and MSPs, providing unattended and on-demand remote access. Try it free by clicking on the link on my website at miketechshow.com or use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial, and you can go directly to instanthousecall.com. So this show is being recorded back in Pennsylvania, and I made a lot of changes to my Pennsylvania setup, and I'm going to discuss them tonight. I'm also going to discuss stories from the trenches. So my wife and I drove back this past Saturday and Sunday. We take the 2 days. It doesn't take 2 full days. We get a good night's sleep and stay in North Carolina. Actually, we were pretty close to Virginia. We weren't far from Virginia, so we made a really good time on Saturday. But we got a good night's sleep, got an early start, good breakfast, and started out Sunday. And then when we hit Maryland, it was horrible traffic, just all volume on I-95 North, very difficult. So took a lot. Now, anybody who knows me, especially some of you who've been at conferences, you know how the temperature is so important to me. The temperature, I need it to be 68 degrees to be comfortable, okay? So Friday, I made sure, because my son's in the house working here. Yeah, this is where he comes every day. And I said, turn on the air conditioner. Got the air conditioner going, but he's not here all weekend. So Sunday, when we get back, late Sunday afternoon, it's very hot in the house. As a matter of fact, when I look at the temperature, it's 84. And I'm like, how can this be? And I tried a few different things. The thermostat was reporting that the batteries needed to be replaced. Replaced them. Then turned the air on, the central air on again, and there was another problem. It wasn't coming on. So I went down to the electrical panel, threw the circuit breakers. That's it. The air is not coming on. I put a message into my HVAC person that I know. Hopefully he can get me on the schedule. And now, what are we going to do? Well, I pull out my Marriott app. There's Marriott hotels all pretty close, and it's only a few points, and I'm able to get one night, check in. I'm hoping it's only one night. Heck, I'm already packed because remember, we have bags from where we stayed overnight. So go to the hotel. I am texting my HVAC person in the morning. They're going to get out in the afternoon. And long story short, it was the filter. I cannot believe that it was the filter that's up in the ceiling in the hallway right near the thermostat. I couldn't believe that because he checked everything, and the only thing that we replaced is the filter, and he even gave me an extra one. So in July, I'll replace it, but that's something that you have to check. And I should have known better because I had an AC problem in Florida, and it wasn't filter related, but the filter was dirty, and I bought a bunch of extra filters. As a matter of fact, my next trip down, I got to replace them. There's 2 filters for the air conditioner for the house in Florida. So I it was embarrassing that was something so simple. But it's like when we're trying to fix something and we're like, is it plugged in? Did you do this? You do the simple things first. So now we're back in. I'm back in the house Monday, and the air's working great. And I have an extra air conditioner here. So in this room. So I was able to survive in this room. The problem was up in the bedroom and at night. But my wife had a great idea, and it's something to have. I'm going to buy a cheap room air conditioner for the bedroom. There's only 2 rooms in this house that I care about. The bedroom and the office here. That's it. I have an conditioner here, a portable one. So I just need a room air conditioner, and that'll take care of any major AC problem. So that was a tremendous idea. Now, one of the things when I started podcasting in Florida, after I moved down, and I bought an inexpensive Mackie mixer. I have a Shure SM58 mic, a boom, and I started out with one of the older Logitech cameras, and then, of course, anybody that's been following me and Carrie had me get the Logitech, the Logi Stream camera, which is phenomenal. And once I got that, the videos was tremendous, and all of you weighed in heavily about the audio quality being way better than Pennsylvania, even though I had a stack of probably a couple $1,000s worth of gear that I've had for a dozen years, maybe more, because I've been doing this now for 16 years. So I decided that's it. I can save a lot of space, and I'm going to match Florida. So a few weeks ago, I had delivered here another SM58 mic. So I retired the Heil, the same boom, which I'm going to talk about that this boom has caused problems because my desk is different. And then the mixer. So Tuesday, my son, Michael Jr. and I have him crawling around as I'm shaking plugs and he's unplugging. We get the camera installed, piece of cake. That just goes right into USB-C. We get the mixer. Finally, after we remove all the gear, I get the mixer. I'm recording everything and the video, and it looks really good, except I don't like the level that I'm getting in Audacity as I'm talking right now. Don't like that level. It's very low. I'm going to have to do some post-production magic to get the Audacity level up. So one of the problems that's one. So as I'm getting ready tonight, I'm having trouble positioning the boom at a nice spot for speaking into the microphone. So I have to get this little box and put it beside my keyboard. I got to slide the keyboard over. It's just not right, and it's just not steady. So I get the brilliant idea. I'll move the boom in front of me because the keyboard's lower, and I'll put that and have it, just come out to me. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I get up, I turn around, and my chair hits the mic. This very heavy boom stand crashes down on my favorite Logitech illuminated keyboard and breaks a half a dozen keys. And I'm telling you, this is minutes before I go live tonight. So I grab another keyboard, and now I'm back to where this is sort of beside me. Okay. Well, we had like 5 false starts tonight because there was a delay using the let me get the software. Hold on. I think it's Logi Capture. And the Logi Capture sending the audio and video to OBS, there was a delay. I'm like, why is there a delay? It was very annoying, and there was no way I could record. I almost shut it down tonight and was going to figure out what's going on, work on it tomorrow, and do a show on Saturday. So I still got to tweak a few things, and I'm going to work on that Saturday. So in the show notes, I'm going to have the Mackie Mixer, the Shure SM58 microphone, the microphone boom stand, the Logi Stream Cam camera, and who is the beneficiary of all of this audio gear? My son Ryan. So we're having a gathering on Monday, and he'll take that home because that equipment, the gate compressor, the OFX levelator, the leveler, the equalizer, it's all in a little portable rack. It's great. And he can use that for his studio in the basement where he wants to get back to recording groups coming into the basement and doing live. And he now has gear he can play with that he'll definitely make way more use of this gear than I will. So it's indefinitely very good hands. So I can get him started on the basics and then let him explore the settings. So one of the things with being away from going on site to a client for over 15 months because of the pandemic, I have work scheduled Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And Tuesday, I was only a few hours, but just going out, going on site, working on a QuickBooks migration, getting that all done, and then visiting the new site that this client's going to move to. They're hoping to move in July. Let me tell you, the contractors are so far behind on getting the details done in the office where it's just concrete and 4 big walls. There's a lot of work to be done. So hopefully that will happen because they have to get out of their temporary location that they're at. And that it's going to be a really nice office. I'm looking forward to that. So that's another move that's going to happen in July. So something I realize, my Wednesday work is my biggest client, and I worked remotely for the last 15 months every Wednesday. Well, now I'm going on site, and I have my laptop that is just for this client. And it's an older laptop, but it's an older Core i7. It's a Lenovo IdeaPad that's a great big laptop, 15.6 inch. It's got a 8 gig of RAM. It's got a 500 gig Samsung SSD. So it's really nice, but it hasn't been turned on in 15 months. Oh, yeah. So I got to get this ready Tuesday night for my work Wednesday morning, and I'm getting up very early Wednesday morning because I got to be on site, and I got to drive into the city, and that's a 45-minute drive. So I open it up, and of course it can't start. You got to plug it in. I got to let it charge a little bit so I can get started. What a mess. So the first thing I did as it was charging, I download the Windows Update Assistant, and that brings it from, it was 1909, I think, and it brought it right to 21H1, which is the latest shipping version of Windows 10. Then Office 365 updates. Then updated Malwarebytes. Then I updated an app that I have on all my computers called Ultra Virus Killer. I've talked about that in the past. I love that. That app updated, and then one of the things I love running from there is Patch My PC. So I don't have to install Patch My PC, but I can run the full program through the interface of Ultra Virus Killer. I run Patch My PC. There are 11 apps that need to be updated. Great. Get them all updated. And now, something I realized over the next few weeks, I have 2 other laptops. One is my test laptop and sort of my network testing and analysis laptop. I haven't turned that on. I have 2 other laptops I have not turned on in 15 months. And I'm just wondering, has anybody else ran into that? Where now I got to take the time and do the same care and feeding to those untouched laptops. So here you go. Right beside me is my iMac that I haven't even turned on since I've been back. That hasn't been updated in 5 months. So I'm going to have to turn on and update that. So here's my dilemma now as I record the show and I try to be as functional as I was in Florida. I can't believe I was more functional in Florida, and that's because I was able to design my office where I just have a blank bedroom. I was able to order everything from scratch and do everything perfectly. I searched and searched for the perfect desk, which really is a gamer's desk that already has the shelf perfectly set up for 3 monitors. And I ordered that from overstock.com right before we even got down there and had someone assemble it for me. Then I had my 3 24-inch monitors. I love Samsung. Had them. Of course, the Beast 2 that Carrie Holzman built. And I'm off and running. And then the equipment that I described at the beginning of the show. And everything's fine. But the desk is a different level than what's here. And it's not as comfortable. And I will tell you this, having only 2 monitors, once you've worked on 3 monitors night and day for 5 months, it is extremely difficult to downgrade and adapt to 2. As a matter of fact, with my whole way of podcasting now and using OBS and using those overlays, having 3 monitors works well, where I can have my Audacity and watch my recording on 1 monitor. I can have the chat and the OBS on a monitor, and then notes or go into a website in the middle monitor. I have a great layout down there. I now need to mirror that, and I can begin by searching for the perfect boom stand. I got to get that it's sturdy and I don't have to worry about it falling or, get it mounted to the desk. Then I need a triple monitor stand and get the 3rd monitor and get that hooked up. That shouldn't be a problem now because I've created a lot of extra space with getting rid of all that gear and the boom that was connected to all that gear. So just in converting to this, I've created a lot of space. So I can't wait to do that. And then I got to get better organized. This office is a wreck. There are so many things that I didn't realize how unorganized I am here, where when I started from scratch, I got everything beautifully organized in my office. You see in the videos, it's looks unlived in. It's perfect. I have everything where I want it. All my drawers, every drawer labeled. We're talking way OCD on getting everything set up. And I was like, why don't I have that when I was back here? I got into poor filing habits. And that's why there's stacks of things all in front of me. That's got to change. So I'm going to make sure that will. I want to continue some more stories from the trenches. So this was disappointing. I got a new system from Dell my Dell distributor, that when I turned it on, or my son turned it on to test, and this was last week, I was still in Florida, the power supply was bad. It was making noises. He was having trouble getting it started. I said, no, that's a brand new system. So we're not going to start replacing parts. And this was for a peer server that is for a client that we're scheduled not next week, the week after, to downgrade a server and Active Directory environment to a peer server. And there's extra work because they use a program called Drive, that's with a double V, that interfaces with the Sharp scanner because they have certain options that they pick on each scan that will go to very specific folders based on the questions they answer. And the software engine needed to be updated. Their server's too old. So rather than upgrade the server, all they have is that app and file storage. Got really nice Optiplex with the latest, greatest Core i7, 32 gigs of RAM, a terabyte C drive that's NVMe, and then a 2 terabyte D drive NVMe for the data. I have two of these, one for this client and another one for next weekend, not Memorial Day weekend, but the weekend after. We are downgrading another server to a peer environment, peer workstation. So that's the second one. Now, this week, or I should say, no, Thursday of last week, my biggest client calls. They have a power power outage and massive problems with systems. So I need to get my son on site. I literally cancel or reschedule, or I take care of remotely his whole Thursday. Had to make that happen, and he couldn't do B&I, and I couldn't do B&I, so took an absence for that. But that's all right. Clients come first. He had to get down on site. One power supply, actually 2 power supplies went bad during this outage on some older Optiplexes. But here's the one that was, we've seen this before. 4 separate systems. The drive, they couldn't boot because after the power outage, and when power came back on and they tried to boot the system boots in the BIOS in legacy mode, not UEFI. So the system won't boot. Now, most people who, the end user looking at that has no idea. It just looks like the hard drive crashed or there's something wrong. But after a power outage, we know because we see this a lot on Optiplexes. So he is armed with only one spare power supply. So he's got to get a second one. Now, they have a spare system in the server room. He's able to get that connected. And then I log in to set up the user for that. He puts another power supply in that one. He's working with one of the guys on site. 2 power adapters, I would say, the brick power supply for an Acer monitor. 2 of them went. 2 separate people, 2 separate monitors. So they started doing monitor roulette and moving everything, or I should say Tetris, really. And now they're moving them and getting that ready. So put an order in for the replacement power cords. Also, I'm stocking up on more power supplies for the Optiplexes so we have them ready to roll, because now with the summer and more power outages, we have a UPS that a battery went bad, so I've just ordered that. This was a mess. 2 power strips blew out. Now that's good because it saved the equipment. But wait till you hear this. After everything's almost good, after a couple hours, bang, the whole plant goes down again. There was trouble outside of the manufacturing facility in the city there that was causing these outages, and 2 of them, now we were way luckier on the second one. There wasn't the damage that was inflicted upon the first one. So this was all day Thursday, and finally got through it, looked like heroes. And then I was on site this Wednesday and had a few cleanup things, and it was nice seeing everybody. So now I've got 2 clients out of the way and scheduling as many as I can over June and July to be on site and say hello and visit. So wear my mask. Now, this client, everybody has to wear a mask if anybody is coming near you. So I'm in the conference room by myself. I don't need it on. But if someone comes in, we put the mask on. And almost everybody there is double vaccinated. So they still have the mask policy. So we adapt. No matter how you feel, no matter what you want to do, and I support masks, obviously, and vaccinations, but you got to adapt to your client if you want to keep them. So what I did on the client on Tuesday, there were only 2 people in that office. They're both vaccinated and they're not wearing masks. And they said, guys, you're all vaccinated. My son and I, you can take your mask off. So I took my mask off for that. I will adapt to whatever the policy is of my client because I feel okay because I'm vaccinated, but I'll have my mask with me. And I just wanted to, I'd like to hear some of your stories as we start to slowly get back to normal. And now I'm going on site where during the pandemic, I did not go on site at all to any client. Everything for me was 100% remote. But now I feel a little better that I can get, I feel safer. Let's hope, knock wood, that I am. So some other things from the trenches. And by the way, I have a great stack of email that I'm going to get to next week. So right now, I have a note here, Windows 10 driver update issues. 2 systems where I had to log in and set the group policy to not install drivers from Microsoft updates. And I will find the perfect article and link that in the show notes tonight. I've linked it before, ran into this before. It's very important, but that's, you have to do it sometimes and stop the drivers. My system prior to this, I had to do that because every time Windows updated, my displays got messed up and everything messed up. And even though I installed the driver from the manufacturer, that was a problem. It was an NVIDIA problem. So, new client challenge that I know a lot of you can relate to. We're taking over a new from an IT support, and I'm working remotely with someone who's listening, and he's smiling right now as I'm not giving away everything, but what do you do when you need to get control of the DNS? And I found out the email is hosted by that IT company with their own servers. So what do you do when you got to gain control of these things from a hostile IT service? So we're working on this right now, and I will let you know how we make out, because right now we got a lot of the systems, not all of them, under control, and they're on our RMM on Synchro, and we got our antivirus platform on there. The backups are all set up, but we got to do a mail migration because they've been having horrendous problems with mail. So what I might do is we just go old school. If I can make sure we get access to every system, and I just export. I know the usernames. We know the user email addresses. I can just create them on SureWeb and then export the PSTs, take the PSTs, and just do a standard migration like we normally do. The problem is they're in Ohio and I'm in Pennsylvania. So getting those PSTs and getting them uploaded to the cloud, I got to work with someone who has the feet on the street, and we can make that happen where they can upload them, or at least I can remote in and do it. I have it all in my head. I now got to put it down on paper. This is one email migration. Have another one where they're going crazy. Now there I have the IT support. I have that. But it's getting the DNS is a problem. I have the the email support, where the email's hosted with one-on-one. And that's easy for me to control because they had the admin access. But the DNS, that's a problem. It's always been a problem. And once we can get to the DNS, I can do anything. So just wanted to share some of the in the trenches challenges and more stories that you will be hearing from in the near future. So I have a very busy June and July coming up and looking forward to it. So, all right. I want to take a moment here for one of my moderators. Everybody knows Taz, his birthday tomorrow. Wish him a very, very happy birthday and have a great weekend. And of course, if you're buying anything from Amazon, please use the link that Carrie Holzman and I share. The link will be in the show notes, and you could take that link and save it as a bookmark. Anything you buy from Amazon, we will split the commission. Your price stays the same, but a small commission comes back and helps us out. Really, really appreciate your support for Amazon. And we got Fabs Auto Backup 7 Pro. Man, we're going to be using that over the next couple weeks. That's a great program to migrate the settings and the data from one system to another. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, we can't live without Instant House Call. Go to instanthousecall.com and check on the trial. You will be back and purchase the service after testing it out. That is it for tonight's show. Hope everything went good and it sounded good, and I got some post-production to do, and that is it. And everybody, if you're celebrating Memorial Day here in the States, have a great, safe, and happy weekend. I'll see you back here next week, same time, same channel. Bye-bye, everybody.